B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
This week, we're heading back out to LA to talk about one of my favorite groups of all time. First being put on the scene by their mentor, King T, the trio of J-Ro, Tash, and E Swift proved the West Coast was more than just gangster rap. Mixing feel-good party vibes with amazing lyrical ability, the Licks delivered 5 high-quality albums in just over 10 years. This week, top 10 alcoholic songs. I'm ready for this one. Joining me, as always, Raven Hunter's in the house. Ben Newman's back in the house. Another week of the Likwit crew, and I will start us off. And I'm going to go to their second album, 1995's Coast to Coast, dope album cover. And this is an out of left field song, but I just had to include it. And the song is 2014. Now, I left off a lot of songs to fit this on, but this is nothing like a lick song. It's just J-Ro rapping, but it's this amazing storytelling song. He's witnessing the apocalypse happen, end of the world. That's the whole first verse. In the second verse, he's just like roaming. He's been roaming for like 20 years. Doesn't think anyone else is around. Hip hop's dead. He runs into this little kid who's saying this rap verse, and he's like, "Yo, where'd you learn that?" And the kid's name is Rakim, and takes him. His dad named him Rakim, and then he takes him to this underground spot where there's b-boys and hip hop's going on, and then he finds out that Tash and E Swift survived too and were alive, and the Licks were reunited. Just this crazy story, and it's totally like nothing they ever did before or after. But I just love those crazy stories, and it's just great. And the beat by E Swift, they sample a KRS-One in the hook. Shit. 2014, a lot of people slept on that. Go check it back out, listen to it. Raven, number 10.
Man, so as somebody who didn't really grow up with the Alkaholiks, like I said, they kind of flew under my radar. They have so many beats that I recognize just from other people sampling them. It's crazy how much of E Swift's older shit just got reused. You know what I mean? I was bobbing my head like, oh, I know that beat. No, I don't know this beat, but I know that beat. But anyway, that was just a side thing. I started with the EXO Experience, which is probably their most cohesive and well put together album, whether you like the more mainstream approach of like the Neptunes and shit. But I went with the DJ Twins produced 151 with Exhibit. Because I love that beat. That was a hard ass beat. And they flow and ride the flow really well. Tash is my favorite member of that crew, but I had the Rap Life CD when that came out and didn't even know who the crew was aside from knowing who King T and them were on other releases, you know what I mean? But yeah, Tash's Rap Life is probably in my top 20 albums of all time. I love that CD so much. And in the EXO Experience is where you can hear that polished flow from Tash. I love Tash. I don't know.
No, and that Rap Life album is a really dope album. I was curious if you were going to sneak one on this list from Tash's solo album.
No, I almost did, but I was like, no, because I didn't sneak any alcoholic shit on the King T. I'll just keep everything separate. I know we'll probably never do Tash because he had like one album, but
yeah,
we'll just leave it off for this.
I think he had a mixtape too, but yeah, I think that's all he had. That album will get talked about a lot more. Ben, what's your number 10?
Starting off with Liquidation, I'm going with Captain Hook.
Yes.
Just dope ass song. The hardest part about this list is 90% of all their songs are just as good as each other. There's so many songs that are just on the high level, and it's like fuck, you just gotta. It's like picking your favorite kids. Yep. So Liquidation, Captain Hook.
Yeah, that was an honorable mention. Great song, great subject matter. Stealing all these rappers' hooks and stuff. And he goes through all the rappers, took, WC's W, and he's throwing up the W. And great song. All right, number 9. And I'm actually going to 2006's Firewater. Easily they're my least favorite one of them, but I wanted to represent it because it's not a bad album. It just didn't hold up, I thought, to the other ones personally. But I wanted to pick one. And I went with the single, the flute song, la 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 la. It was the main single, but I love the vibe of the woman singing with the flute in the back, which got me thinking, did this feature Andre 3000? Was he playing the flute on there back then already? I don't know. It might be a conspiracy we can start. How about another dope beat by E Swift, like you said? He doesn't get enough credit. Yeah, he did so much stuff, Alkaholiks and King T, but amazing producer. And the video is cool too. It looks back on their whole career and shows just clips throughout their whole career because they announced before this even came out that this was going to be their last album. And you know, rappers say that all the time and then come out of retirement. And they didn't, which is too bad because I would love to get a new Licks album. But yeah, the flute song, Firewater, number 9. What about you, Raven?
I'd love to hear their take on new. You know what I mean? Like, because they kind
Yes.
of tried to move with the times in terms of
Hmm.
their sound. So I'd love to hear their take after. Like, I'm a much bigger fan now than I was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago before we started with the King T and all that. Like, I'd love to hear that shit. But anyway, Liquidation. I went to that album. Like, I think that's my favorite album from them. There's just a lot of really good vibes on that album, but I went with the song Liquidation, produced by Easy Mo Bee, because I love Easy Mo Bee's production anyway, but I love the beat of Liquidation. This might
Another.
be like one of the better CDs to come out in 1997, and I didn't even know it until now, and that's crazy.
All right, Ben, you're number 9.
I'm going to EXO Experience with Barcode. Yeah, that album I think is the best put together by them. The whole thing through like is just to me it picked up like this funkiness to it, like that they didn't have before as far as beats. And I just I like that kind of shit. So there's so many songs I could have put on here, but I goddamn like it was this was a tough list. So I'm going with Barcode for 9.
And that was an honorable mention. It was a great way to start the record. You
Yeah,
know, that was the first song on there. And you're right. Like I could have picked 10 from EXO because you explained it actually perfectly. I never even thought it that way, but like 90% of their music is just
yeah,
not that it's the same, but it's just that level.
yeah.
It's just like it could be this, it could be that.
It's like you're never let down.
Right,
But then it's hard to pick favorites because there's so many on that plateau.
right. All right, we are at number 8, and I'm going to what I think is my favorite, but I'm just a sentimental type guy, and that's the first one, 1993's 21 and Over. Fuck, was I excited for this to drop. I had heard them on King T's Triflin album, and I was like, man, if they ever put out an album, I can't wait. And they did. And I'm gonna start from this album with the song Bullshit. I could have had all this. This album only has 10 songs. I could probably have 9 of them make my list. But this kind of track they kind of had on every album. This like the same idea as they do with Bullshit. But it's just a fun sing along with the chorus, creative concept. King T jumps in and kicks like 8 bars. T and Swift did the beat on this. And it's just a fun track, right? You're always gonna sing along when you hear Bullshit. So yeah. That's my number 8. What about you, Raven?
Number 8. I went with Coast to Coast from I put the Friday soundtrack, but I'm
It,
pretty sure it's on the album as well.
it's not.
Uh, oh, it's
Interesting
not.
enough, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's
I
from the
even had to
Friday
double
soundtrack.
check because it seems like it should be, right?
Yeah. I like the vibe of that beat. It's got a little bit of a slow ramp up, in my opinion, like just to get to the actual song, but I like that song a lot.
Another honorable mention.
And great
Uh,
soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. If they would have not ended it with those like 4 funk songs, I
Oh
mean,
yeah. It could have been
it
up there
always,
with like Judgment Night and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
it always took me out of it.
Trespass.
Yeah, but it is a dope soundtrack. Glad that got brought up. Number 8 for you, Ben.
I'm sticking with EXO and I'm going with Run Wild. I think there was a video for it.
There's
It's
a single. I have the vinyl
the
right there.
oh okay. The hook is a little more poppy, but it works. I don't know. It was just it kind of stuck out to me. Like I said, I could have picked anything off this record, but I'm trying to dwindle it down,
All right.
and then that one made the cut.
I do believe if someone had never heard them at all and just went in blindly, that EXO probably is the most cohesive, the best musically album, because it never lets you down at all. Where Liquidation, as dope as it is, there were some songs that would take me out of it a little bit, just me personally. But at number 7, I'm gonna stay with the album you were just on, XO Experience. And this is a great example how entrenched I am in only hip hop music. Not until after this album came out did I see this record by Jimi Hendrix. I'm like, hey, that's the Alkaholiks cover.
Oh, damn.
Oh wow.
That's how bad it is. I know hip hop, and that's it. I did not know this was a rip on a Jimi Hendrix Experience, but so I was a dumbass, and I'll admit it. I don't care. But to back it on up, XO Experience, and I'm going with the song Liks. It's just a fun Alcoholics vibe, the beat, the hook, and I love the structure. Like Tash will do the first 8 bars, and then he'll be like, then he throws it to E Swift, tell these motherfuckers what the name means, and he'll go through L, all L words, IKS. Second verse, Tash does 8 bars, kicks it to J-Ro. J-Ro does the same thing, kind of like Papooses Alphabet Slaughter. They take each letter and do like 2 bars off of that letter. It's just dope. I mean, I love that creative type concept, and when they change structures, every song shouldn't always be a 16-bar verse, an 8-bar hook, or whatever. And Lex kind of switched it up. So that was my number 7. What about you, Raven?
Number 7, I went with Bullshit from
Good
21 and
pick.
Over. Yeah, it's a fun song. I like that album a lot too, actually. I think Firewater is the only album I just kind of was like, I mean, it's all right. It's
Right.
all right. In today, it's all right. Back then, it was probably fire. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, no, the nostalgic vibe that I got from that album, even though I didn't have that album when it came out, was crazy. But that just shows you how well it stood up.
It's so good, and it's only 10 songs. And I checked the it's only 39 minutes long, but it never lets you
It's a
down.
good album, right?
Right. I'd rather have 10, fire ass songs than
Bangers.
20 with a bunch of fillers, right? Number 7 for you, Ben.
I went to Firewater. Got to be honest, when we started this list, this is the first time I've listened to that album.
Oh,
I've,
wow.
I just it kind of, I think I heard it came out, but I just kind of got lost in the shuffle. But I went with the song "Get Into It." I thought that was a standout track. I wanted to I thought the album was awesome. Like listening to it, for the first couple times. So I wanted something on there. I had something else and I took it off. But so I went with this "Get Into It." I thought that was the standout track from that record.
I don't want to be like I'm dissing on Firewater either, because it is good. I think at the time and even now, like, because this followed XO, and it
Mm-hmm.
just was such a step
It
down.
dipped.
It dipped big time, and it was almost like they were kind of mailing it in. And like I said, they did this big like campaign. This is our last album. This is the last time you're gonna hear Alcoholics all together.
Yeah, their livers are shot.
Yeah, that well, Ben and I were talking about this off show. That they kind of painted themselves into a corner, because now you got to always be the guy drinking nonstop every time in public, right? Otherwise, you got
Yeah,
to live the gimmick like wrestlers, right? You
that's
got to
it.
live the gimmick,
They're up on
K-pop, man.
stage with 40s of apple juice and shit.
right? Just faking it.
Yeah.
Okay, we are to number 6, and I'm going back to 93's 21 and Over, and I'm going with the single. There's a couple singles, but the main single, and that's Make Room. I actually got that tape before the album dropped, so that was the first physical thing I had that was just Alcoholics related. And I remember the video actually getting played on UMTV Raps somewhat regularly. Like they're playing basketball, but they're using an empty beer bottle. Then they're like doing the discus, but using empty beer bottles. They're doing all these sports, but with empty beer bottles. But it's a perfect song for the single. I love I don't know why. You know how sometimes lines they just always hit you for some reason. And when J-Ro says, "I got Zoom power, never took a cold shower, never had a girlfriend the color of cooking flour," always makes me smile. And I don't know if I know why. But everything you want in a dope lick song. Simple, effective hook, dope beat, rhymes, make room for the crew with beats that thump is my number 6. How about you, Raven?
Number 6, I went with Ah Shit with Exhibit, produced by E. Swift. And yeah, that was on Liquidation, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Damn, that was a dope song, and I like early Exhibit a lot. I fell out of him a little bit as he got like fully wrapped up into the aftermath sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I really like the old Exhibit, and he goes off really hard on that shit.
Yeah, another honorable mention. That was on my list for about, 5 days. All shit was at like 9, 10. Because it is. And it's kind of like bullshit. Like every album had a song kind
It's
of
that
like
almost
that.
like party anthem style.
Right. Yeah. They were kind of the same, but they each worked in their own way. Number 6, Ben.
I went to Coast with Next Level, featuring Diamond D. I know we've talked about Diamond D a lot, how he doesn't get his due. Video was cool, just a dope ass song, and Diamond D was cool as hell on it. And Coast to Coast was a solid, really solid follow up from them, from their debut there. So yeah, there's a lot. They have a lot of good songs, man.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going with Next Level.
And like you brought up, Diamond D does not get enough credit. In the 90s, he was just killing it. Just
So
so
he was with
underrated.
Lord Finesse, right? Digging in the crates.
Yeah,
They were all,
DITC. Yep,
yeah.
yeah. Just so amazing. His name doesn't get brought up enough, but another honorable mention. You guys are killing it here. Coast to Coast was a little bit different sound than the other ones. I don't want to say it was darker, but it just had a more beat wise, maybe a
Yeah,
grittier feel, a little bit
yeah.
different, but still great. We are already halfway there, and for the first time, I'm gonna go to 1997's Liquidation. I mean, look at that cover. I mean, they
Yeah.
could have done better. They could have done better. Song, but I'm going with the song All Night, which was a single. This was the second single after Hip Hop Drunkies with ODB, but it's such a dope beat, and it always stood out to me. And it's maybe because I had this maxi single and I loved the beat so much that I would not stop it when it got to the instrumental. So I would even listen to the instrumental just to listen to the beat. So it's kind of burned in my brain. But another example of why I love the licks. Simple but catchy hook. You can't help but sing along. I love at the end they shout out all these DJs. They say like 50 DJs, West Coast DJs, and they name like fucking everyone. And it's so cool. But I want to talk about the video, which I love to do a lot on here. I know I think about things too much, but the song All Night is just about being up all night partying. So the video, they're in like 1920s Prohibition era, right? Dressed like that. And they're in a saloon rapping, like they did in the 1920s. Then some gangsters come and they dress up as cops and they kidnap the alcoholics and wrap them in chains and they paddle out into a lake and dump them over to kill them. Then at the end of the video, they break from the chains and come up. Plus, Ice-T is in it, which is a cool cameo. He's a card dealer at a saloon. And none of this has absolutely anything to do with the song. Zero. But they gave me Ice-T, so I'm not going to hate on it. But these videos that I don't understand. Maybe I don't need to understand. The all night video, it makes absolutely no sense if it's supposed to be about the song. But I love the song. Dope beat all night. All right, I'm done hating. Raven, what's your number 5?
It's probably drunk as fuck when they came up with these video ideas. So I mean, you can't,
Possibility. That's true. That's
Um,
true.
but speaking of beats that get it like earwormed into your brain, this song I actually loved when it came out, and I didn't even know it was an alcoholic song, but Tash was in it. And that was Best You Can, produced by the Neptunes. Fucking man, I don't love Pharrell Williams, but I loved NERD. And when he came out, Neptunes and their album was awful. I was pretty disappointed. But Best You Can has that lap dance type beat that gets into your head and just sits. You know what I mean? And I remember like that whole summer playing Best You Can at like fucking Tash is awesome, not even realizing it was his group and shit.
Damn.
It blows my mind now. You know what I mean? Because I love the song or two that the Alcoholics were in on his album, but because I never really fucked with them, I never looked for their shit.
Mhm.
And yeah, so by the time this came out, I was just like, oh, fucking Tash, I know that voice.
All this great music you were missing. I almost feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not many times that that you hit me with an artist from the 90s and beyond before that that I'm just like, I have no clue, bro. But yeah, so you asked me about King T in our interview and you stumped the fuck out of me because I just never really fucked with alcoholics like that.
Yeah.
And I do regret that now because there's a lot of really good fucking music. And like
So
Ben and you
much.
said, it's all on such an even level that it was hard. There's so many scratches and scribbles on my list trying to figure
Mhm.
out the order of this, and the numbers were changing so much.
Number 5 for you, Ben.
Maybe that video you were talking about for All Night when they fell into the water, they were too close to a waterfall, and that's where they got the
Oh, that's
picture.
where they got the picture. That could
They went
be.
over.
They went
They
over
went
water.
over. That was a live shot, and you're just
Right.
being a hater.
I never put that
Um,
together. Wow.
Number 5, I'm still on Coast to Coast with Let It All Out. Like you said, they like the beats got darker on that album. I think they were trying to the party get hammered shit. They were trying to get a little
Right.
out of that, but they're like, well, our name's Alkaholiks, we got to do it somewhat. But there's a line in there where when he's like, I'll fold your clothes up with your body still in them, and that's always stuck with me since the first time I've heard it. I love that line.
That's a
Um,
gangsta ass line right there.
That
yeah,
is that.
and I've heard it. I've heard other people do it after something similar, but
Hmm.
that's when I remember the first time hearing that, and I was like, that's a cool ass line. So, yeah, that song always stuck with me from coast to coast. So, yep, Let It All Out, number 5.
That is a good pick. And again, great album. So I'm going to bring us right into number 4, a song I never thought would be this high. But, sometimes you got to look in the mirror. I'm going back to EXO Experience, to this bizarre song that just works. It's the last song on the record, Promote Violins, featuring Corrupt. It's so unique sounding beat and vibe, but to me it just works. Corrupt starts and he brings it on verse 1, and everyone kills it, but I think J-Ro is one step higher. So many dope lines, and this one of a kind beat by E Swift. The violin samples get me, and the perfect beat drops, which I always talk about, make a song just so much more. And it was a great way to end this album on a high note. I don't know what it is. I always have one of these where I can't really put into words what it is, but Promote Violence is so weird and unique sounding, but I just love it. And I'm not, a lot of people love Corrupt, and I'm just a fair weather Corrupt fan. He's all right, but I thought he
I love
killed it. But yeah, Promote Violence, last track, very weird beat, but it works. Number 4 for you, Raven.
number 4, rocking with the best. 97, produced by E Swift, Filled Agony. Dope song. I love the beat and vibe of that shit. It's just, I don't know. It's hard hitting without being a hard song. You know what I mean? But yeah, Liquidation. I just love that album.
Number 4, Ben.
I'm still on Coast to Coast with Damn.
Good
Uh,
pick.
I remember I had the cassette single before the record actually dropped. I think that was out a little bit before, and
Yep.
just the everybody getting ready for the new licks after that first record.
Yeah.
Dope ass song.
And
Dope
that's
ass
one of
song.
those songs that's like bullshit, like oh shit, damn.
Yeah,
They always had one like that. And
I didn't like it at first, and it took me a
really,
couple plays. I'm like, well, this is fucking corny. But then I was like, and it's not corny. I'm like,
no, I
I
was
didn't get it
wrong.
at first.
And I think
Yep.
that's the cassette single that just was like a picture of Tash's mouth open. Like,
Beer tabs, a bunch of like a beer tab.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually
Oh,
remember that cover.
that did come out before the album. To number 3, top 3. I'm gonna stay with 2001's XO Experience. I'm going back here one more time. So this would be my favorite one off the album, and it is da 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 da. Such a fun song. That Likwit vibe, just amazing lyrics. Again, I say it all the time, but those simple, effective hooks that you just sing along. You're lying if you don't sing along to this hook. At least part of it is too much fun. And Tash's verse about the genie gives him 40 wishes, and he's, want that King T album plus exhibit on cassette. And then at the end, his last wish is to take his spot so he can be the genie. J. Rowe has a lot of dope one-liners. The one that always stuck out to me was sometimes I'm hard to find like downtown parking spaces. Whenever I can't find a parking space, I think of this song. But E Swift comes in and just destroys it. He does not get enough credit for his rapping. He not only hangs with Tash and J. Rowe, but he just destroys this song. Just guys got to go check it out. Anyone listening who's not familiar, you got to listen to at least E Swift at the end. He just destroys it. So da 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 da. My number 3, Raven. You are up at 3.
3. I'm gonna hang out with Ben, and I'm gonna go. Damn. 95's Coast to Coast. I love it. I have all, each one of the albums, like you said, has that, and I think I got it. I think I got it on my list from every album. I like that the vibe of those tracks.
Yeah, and they always work, which is perfect because we'll go right to number 2, 1995's Coast to Coast. Damn.
Damn.
We all were on the same page. From that very first drum kick that comes in with that beat, and then they start with the hook. I didn't think from day one, I thought this was an awesome song. It didn't have to grow on me. It hooked me right away. And like bullshit, it's impossible for me not to sing along. Once a year, Alkaholiks got the beats that make you say, I'm gonna yell damn every time.
Facts.
Plus in J. Rowe's verse, he says OG was right because rhyme pays. That I always loved.
Little love for you.
Little love towards Ice-T. Tash brings it to Exhibit talks some shit in the middle of the song. And, the beat is kind of gritty at its core, but it works even for this concept. Dope scratching throughout. Damn. Perfect way to describe this song. Raven, what's your number 2?
Number 2. I went to 21 and over. I went to the song Only When I'm Drunk, which I know was a video. But man, what a fun vibe. The line, every night I pray, please, no more whack MCs. That's so fucking dope. And it's sad that it did not come true.
Prayers don't always get answered. That's the lesson I learned from Only When I'm Drunk.
What a great song, though. I love the vibe of that track.
Great concept. Great fucking concept. And we talked about the Tash album. They did Only When I'm Drunk Part 2, or Only When I'm Drunker, did they call it, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Only When I'm Drunker.
Only When I'm Drunker, yeah. Great concept. Number 2 for you, Ben.
Well, since you treated me like chopped liver and skipped me for 3, do you want
I did? Did I really?
Well, damn.
Oh, shit, that's horrible.
Fuck you, Ben. Go to hell.
I'm sorry.
Shit. Number 3, I was on Liquidation with Hip Hop Drunkies.
That one did get brought up there. That was honorable mention, yep. ODB.
Yep. So dope song. Number 2, first time I'm going to 21 and over. This album was the shit when it came out. We all know that now. Just such a fun hip hop record. So I went with Likwit, just the opener, flowing like liquid. Just I don't know, great song, great way to set off, kind of just them. So I went with the opener for number 2 on 21 and over.
I'm so glad someone picked it. That was on my list until yesterday when I decided I had to be different and put 2014 on. I love that first song. You get King T in there. Yeah. Just such a great opening. Just a classic album. And I'm sorry I missed you.
We're good, dude. I don't care.
Usually it's me. He usually skips me, and I just meekly wait and don't bring it up.
You were really excited to talk about number 2. That's why.
Yeah, because you just said damn, so I'm just like, fuck whatever's going on. Damn. We're going to damn, man. Yeah, it must have been what it was. I believe we are at number 1, and I'm going to that first album, 93's 21 and over. Now, this is a great album cover, right? What happened with Liquidation? Great album cover. And I'm going with Only When I'm Drunk. The concept, everybody can relate to dumb shit you say or do only when you're drunk. And in J. Rowe's verse where he's almost puking while he's rhyming, like he's, but it's a false alarm. And he'll hiccup here and there because those elements just add so much to it. Just so much. I think it's so clever. and Tash destroys his verse. And I love the part when the beat completely drops. I think the only time in the song. And Tash is like the type of rapper that'll get you out your seat faster than a carjacker. And just the way he spits that in that little blank space is just perfect. E Swift brings it too on the mic. Just funny line after funny line, all the crazy things that happen when you're drunk. You know, when I'm drunk, I might even call my daddy a punk, but only when I'm drunk. That's my number one. What about you, Raven?
You got a bad name like Dick Butt Kiss. The Next Level.
Next Level.
With Diamond D, I think, is in that song too.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love that beat. I love that line. That line made me laugh so much.
It's a great line. It is a bad name.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, no, Diamond D kills that shit too.
No doubt. I'm glad that got some love. Next Level is a really good song, and I'm glad you both had it. So, number one for you, Ben. I'm not going to skip you.
Only When I'm Drunk.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
What a fun song. And to this day, I don't care if I'm kicking it with your grandma or my grandma. Or the keep a fifth in the trunk, my fucking ugly bitch.
Bitch it only when I'm drunk, yeah.
That's a fun ass song, dude. Like
it is. Almost everyone can relate to something stupid you said or did.
This was almost like when we did Naughty by Nature. I knew right away what my number one was.
Like, yeah, this one I pretty much knew. So sometimes I know and I'll just write number one, but a lot of times I'll put top three, top five, like it has to be. And I think Only When I'm Drunk was one I put top three, but I love it. Yeah, such a great song. So there, the Alkaholiks, we got through them. Was so fun going through the Alkaholiks albums. Honorable mentions though, you guys knocked a lot of them off. So what I got left, the only one left from 21 and over is Last Call. Last call, y'all. Last call for alcohol. From Coast to Coast, the song 21 and Under, and the song, I want to talk about the song Flashback, where it's like this old, like, Cold Crush Brothers type flow, and Exhibit's on there, but he does this old school rapper voice and cadence that is just so fucking amazing. It sounds like he's listening to Busy Bee, Cool Mo D in 1977, and it's just like a 6-7 minute song, just all this old school hip hop vibe. From Liquidation, Killing It. I like Killing It, and I like Keep It Pouring. From EXO, the only one that I had down that no one brought up is The Bubble with King T. From Firewater, I had On the Floor. And from the 1 Million Strong compilation, No Hands Out, or No Handouts. What are we missing?
On 21 and over, I thought it's important to teach the kids about crossfading, so Mary Jane.
Yes.
And then on Liquidation, I had the Liquid Riders and Funny Style with King T.
That's a good one, Funny Style, yeah.
Coast to Coast, I had Read My Lips. About it.
Well, I will let you guys go. We'll do Exhibit next week, and
yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Cool. See you, man.
Take it easy, bro.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide.